All right, you guys, it's been a while. It has been quite a while. Um, been working on some things. One thing I definitely want to do is I want to cover a few different items that I had been working on not too long ago. I had a telecom interview, and these are some of the things that I learned about the telecom interview. I was working with a very, very large company, one of the largest ISPs in North America, if not one of the top ones in the world. And it was basically one of those kind of positions where I wanted to kind of gather some information. And in this position specifically, you're not dealing with any direct configuration. It's more of not really like a field engineer position, but you're pretty much the person that's gathering information. As I told you guys earlier about a lot of telecom positions that were open through Lumen. And so these are some of the questions that I asked. I'm going to get right into it and we're going to keep going along. I'm not going to keep nobody here really late tonight. One of the first questions I asked was about subnetting and how that will relate to the job. Then I asked about ensuring network security during implementation. What kind of tools or techniques is going to be used? What experience do you need for configuring routers, switches, and firewalls? They said you really didn't need that kind of experience because you're really just you're pretty much designing what the customer may need in terms of fiber optic and things of that nature. And you're not actually you're almost like a solutions architect, so to say, but you're not fixing the things. I asked him about how the network documentation and change management process is. I asked about the learning curve of the position and upward mobility. Now these are some big questions that they had trouble with. And one of those questions that I had asked was, with them being around for 94 years and the changes from CenturyLink and Quest, what do you foresee the next 10 years will be? A lot of companies, I went mute for a minute. A lot of companies are going to get stumped when you ask those questions during interviews. Then I also said something else, and this is some open-ended research that I took upon myself to do. I said, I noticed in 2023 you were able to reduce net debt by 1.6 billion. How were you able to do that? They couldn't answer that question. I had them stumped. And then I told them that I read their proof of concept on what they did for the Minnesota Vikings in Zoom. And I said, I also read some information from your president and CEO of Lumen. So I started asking questions about that and where they see the company going and things of that nature. They really didn't know what to say. That was above their pay grade, but I'm demonstrating that I can look into a situation, look into a company, and ask open-ended questions. Let them know that I was interested. So that's one of the things that I did. Another article that I want to bring up, and we're going to be moving along very fast. I don't think I read this before, but 5 industries that's benefiting from the AI boom. They said financial services, legal services, healthcare, medical research, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing and robotics, and real estate. Now, this was an article that I got from Dice, saying, according to a recent report by PwC, some 73% of U.S. companies already use AI in some aspects of their business. However, adoption by industry and the resulting demand for technical talent has been far from uniform. A handful of sectors are leading the way in terms of investments, implementation, and growth of startups that support specific vertical needs. So I thought that would be very interesting for you guys to take a look at. Another thing that I found out about, here's a tool you can put in your toolbox. MyPerfectCoverletter.com. You can create a great looking cover letter and a resume. I've used it myself. There's a free trial for about maybe a week or two, and then they start to charge you, I think $20 a month or something. Now, if you're doing a resume review for somebody else, that might be a good hustle. But that's what they charge, and you could probably write it off if you got an LLC. Another thing here, I want to go over well, I won't worry about that right now. I won't worry about that right now. As I said, I'm going to make this extremely quick today. Just some new information that I got. Another article out of Dice that I found out was how to master 6 essential transferable skills to thrive in the age of AI. And these are the things that they name: critical thinking and problem solving, data literacy, intellectual curiosity and commitment to continuous learning, AI ethics. That's going to be a big one. Now, there's one thing here. Let's get some music going. I had somebody that was asking me the other day, you got all of these different things. That's an expense. And it's legal. You're not going to get hit over the head so bad. So you take a certain amount out your 401k, you put that to the side each check. You take some out of the HSA, you put that aside each check, of course, it's going to be pulling out. And if you do have an LLC and you got a business on the side, you know, you want to make sure that you're documenting all your expenses. And that's how you save on taxes. That's what I did. The taxes don't hit you so bad. They don't hit you so bad. Now you might want to talk to a a tax professional. You might want to do that too. But these are just some things that it seemed to help me. So, like I said, I was going to keep it real short with you guys. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I might do a couple reviews. You guys know my policy on gaming, but you know, this is a tech channel. I'm going to do some reviews and have a couple, you know, a quick discussion on some of the updated gaming stuff. And then we'll go there next time. Peace out. Y'all know I have been waiting on this for some time. And you know how much of a fan I am of the Copenhagen-based video game firm Playdead, the creators of Limbo and Inside. I just happened to be browsing around, and this showed you how much I'm out the loop when it comes to the gaming thing. But a guy named Hiram Cryer published this on February 28th that said, nearly 7 years later, we finally have a new look at the follow-up to two of the greatest, darkest platformers of all time. I actually agree with that. Speaking of which, I'm going to steal their photo and use it as a screenshot. Oh, they're not letting me. Damn. I think I could copy this. Let me see if I can make a meme out of it. Meme generator. Oh, it sure can. Y'all be seeing that in a minute. This is dope. This is dope. I give credit where credit is due. So, I agree with that. I agree with that statement that this is one of the best platformers of all time. And you know, we got Mario. I mean, we got Ninja Gaiden. I mean, we got some real heavy hitter platformers. But this really has stayed the test of time. Limbo and Inside is one of the best platforming games I've ever played in my life. I didn't say it was the best one, but it's one of them. I mean, it is in my top 10. Might even be top 5. Now, I'm going to read the article here and give my commentary. The developer of Limbo and Inside has revealed 2 pieces of art for his long gestating third game. I remember the first time that I played it, my homie, I went over his house many years ago. And I wasn't playing video games a lot, but I seen him playing this and I'm looking at this like, whoa. And it was just creepy as hell. It was like the first time he played me some 3-6 Mafia. And I was like, okay, this is what I've been waiting on. I've been waiting on something like this. And I was just hooked. And he let me use the game. I didn't play it for a long time. But I just thought it was dope. I thought it was so dope. And then he showed me the trailer of Inside. And I lost it. I mean, it was so creepy. It creeped me out so bad. I was like, whoa. So we'll continue. Sublime horror platformer Inside launched nearly 7 years ago in 2017. And since then, we've heard very little from the developer Playdead, despite the fact that its third game was announced just a few months after Inside's launch. We always knew it was a desolate-looking sci-fi based game, with the former descriptor in the particular bringing to mind memories of Inside and Limbo, the developer's first games. So it looks like what they've done here, they say, we finally have a look at Playdead's new game. The studio revealed via its Twitter account that it will be at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco next month in March, posting some tantalizing artwork to accompany the message. This artwork would appear to be from Playdead's new game, given that we've never actually seen it before. Now, I'll tell you one thing about Playdead. Playdead, they are very, very, I mean, it's like Area 51. They must have an NDA out of this world. They must have an NDA out of this world, because they don't want to give you no information. They keep it real tight. That's how you know they got a good team. They keep it really, really tight. If you go to their Twitter page, let's take a look at this real quick. If you go to the Twitter page, and I follow them, they don't follow nobody. Now, it looks like on April 6th of 2017, they posted that they got best game design, narrative, and original property. So that's like the Grammys, I guess, British Academy Game Awards. So everybody's in their tuxedos and they're looking good. Yeah, they don't post the few things that you see going back to 2016. They're posting concept art. September 18, 2022. They look like they got some. There's a collection. It's like an exhibit of some stuff in Inside. And August 23rd, 2016, it says Inside is out on PS4 today. You know, so I mean, they don't post a lot. They really do not post a lot. That game did something to me when I played it. I see what they were trying to accomplish. It brought that emotion out. I'm looking at it, you're immersed. The world, the sounds, everything about it. I understand what they were trying to do. I understand what they were trying to do. And the ratings that they got, 10 out of 10 with all these places, I understand. I understand. This actually makes there's an Inside double pack that was released. That is a great. They say it's a double pack, available from select retailers. Yeah, that is that's a wonderful, wonderful gift you could give someone. Limbo sold over 6 million copies. Inside sold over 1 million copies. And they said they each have more than 100 awards and nominations. Well done. Well done. I hit the wrong button. Now let's go back up to their Twitter page. They were given the Apple Design Award. They won that. June 5th, 2018. Now, if you look at March 9, 2018, they showed a piece of concept art where they're saying, if you're looking for a new challenge, visit us at GDC South Hall, booth 135. And they must have reposted something. This was from December 7th, 2021. But they said 15 years ago, game designer Ark Jensen founded Playdead, Limbo, and Inside. Each took 6 years. Our current project, Game 3, is even more ambitious. If you're a game maker, appreciate our work, and want to live in Copenhagen, get in touch. Okay. Then I seen like a little GIF on March 26, 2020. That looked dope. Now, the first visual that I seen of the new game that I saw, I believe, was January 20th, 2017, where it looked like a guy was on a parachute and he was on the top of a mountain, which I thought that picture really looked incredible. So let's go back to the article real quick. Now they got a link. Do you want to work with us? Meet Playdead at GDC 2024. Sign up for a face-to-face or a virtual meeting. Now it says if you follow the link in the tweet, there's a Google form that reveals the new game is 3D. Now before, I don't think, a couple years ago, I don't think it was 3D open world. They said it's a 3D open world sci-fi adventure set in a remote corner of the universe made in Unreal 5. These are the first gameplay details we've ever actually had for Playdead's new game. We never knew it was open world, which is a big departure from the linear stories and worlds of Limbo and Inside. Now, that's new information to me. I thought that it was going to be not necessarily open world, but to my knowledge is that it was just going to be a bigger world than Inside. Okay? So, to my knowledge, I thought that it wasn't going to be an open world. So it says here, this is the first time we've heard anything of Playdead's new game since a tiny interview back in 2019. At the time, Playdead co-founder Ark Jensen said the new title would be a bigger game than the other two, referencing both Limbo and Inside. The new open world detail from Playdead only hammers home that point, and perhaps alludes to why we haven't seen anything of the game for so long. Now there's a website here. This is off Games Radar, and it says upcoming indie games for 2024 and beyond. So I'm looking at a few of these and seeing what may be something interesting that I'm interested in. I'm not seeing too much. But I am a big fan of indie games. I'm not seeing a lot that I really want to play, but this is a first-person puzzle adventure. I think I'm all right on that. But yeah, man, yeah, that game looks like it's going to be very, very ambitious. But then let's go to this. And this is what I wanted to kind of get into as well. Now, I didn't know this, but they are releasing A Little Nightmares Part 3. And I have it took me forever to play Little Nightmares. Scared the crap out of me. But I had the game for a couple years. I actually had the box where it came in with the little figure. And I bought Little Nightmares 2. I didn't know that was coming out at one point in time. And so I have that too. It's unwrapped. I got Little Nightmares 2. I've had it for maybe, let me see. How long have I had Little Nightmares 2? I had Little Nightmares 2. When did that come out? Jeez. That came out in 2021. So I don't think I knew that was out. I had to be way in the mix. Let me see when I bought that game. Let me check. I'm just curious. Let me see, did I buy it? Okay, so I bought Little Nightmares. I ordered that. I ordered it on Amazon on June 2nd, 2022. That's insane. That is insane. Okay. So yeah, I ordered Little Nightmares June 2022. It is now April. It's gonna be May in a few days. So that's how much out the loop I am. That's how much I you know. So yeah, I didn't even know that Little Nightmares 3 was gonna come out. I had no idea. That's supposed to be coming out this year. Now, they say it's a standalone sequel to the first two Little Nightmare games. Little Nightmares 1 was amazing. It creepy as hell, but amazing. So it looks like it says like before, like the other games, it's in a 2.5D world. Unlike the first two games, the player can now go solo along an AI companion or play with another player online co-op. They got different gameplay mechanics. Now it says in 2021, Tarsier Studios confirmed that Little Nightmares 2 will be its last entry, as they were acquired by Embracer Group in 2019. But since the Little Nightmare intellectual rights belong to Bandai Namco, the publisher intends to continue the series without Tarsier. Now, in August 2023, Little Nightmares was unveiled at Gamescom's opening night live. Unlike its predecessors, the game is solely developed by Supermassive Games instead of the franchise's original developer. Supermassive had prior experience on Little Nightmares franchise for developing the enhanced PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series XS ports of the previous game. Now, when I heard that there was going to be a new company that's going to be developing it, okay, so the publisher is Bandai. So how does video game publishing work? Now, Bandai owns several multi-million video game franchises: Pac-Man, Tekken, Soul Calibur, Ace Combat, Tales, Dark Souls. What is Tales? Yeah, Ace Combat used to be kind of fun. When was the last time that they released one? Okay, yeah, Ace Combat used to be kind of fun. I think the first Ace Combat that I played, was that PlayStation? Jeez, that was a long time ago. Okay, so they own Ace Combat, so they're a publisher. Okay, so it's basically like Interscope Records and Aftermath Entertainment, and then okay, I see. It's probably a little different. I don't know how any of that stuff works. But their revenue's $240 billion, so they're doing all right. They are doing all right. So yeah, when I first heard that Tarsier is not going to be dealing with it, I said, oh man. I said, okay, let me see what Supermassive Games, what they have developed. I want to see what they've developed. I'm not saying they're not good, but it might be a little different. It might be a little different. So I'm trying to figure out some of the games that they've done. Oh, okay. So they've done Little Big Planet as well. I think that Tarsier worked on some of those. Or did they just change the name? Killzone for PlayStation 3. Oh, they did that. Okay. Yeah, I ain't got to worry about nothing. Oh, okay. They did the Little Nightmares 2 enhanced version. Little Big Planet. Well, I'm trying to. Oh, they did the DLC. Okay. Well, so Tarsier Studios. Let's take a look at that. Let's see, what did they work on. Tarsier Studios worked on Little Big Planet as well, so maybe the same developers. Little Nightmares. Yeah, they really did. I'm telling you, they Little Nightmares. They did a really great job. There's nothing really like that out here. I wonder how many years it took. Okay, so over 2 million records, or not 2 million records, 2 million units have been sold. Damn, was it that long that Little Nightmares came out? 2017. Okay, I see. Came out on 2017. All right, well, let's get a quick review. Because you know what? Before we do that, real quick, there's a company called Section 9. Okay? Now, Section 9, I'm kind of looking at them the same way I was looking at Playdead. Now, they were founded in 2020 in Sweden. They say they are an independent video game company. They worked on Little Nightmares 2, and Little Big Planet. Now, these guys were in leading roles, so you got the heavy hitters. Office located in Västra Hamnen, one of the most vibrant and sustainable neighborhoods in the city. So, Section 9. Oh, that looks very nice wherever this is. Looks like a real nice city. Okay, so if you go to Section 9 Interactive, if you Google Section 9 Interactive, if you look at some of the concept work that they're showing you, it kind of reminds you of Little Nightmares a little bit. It's that style. And looking at the jobs, they need a level designer, 3D artist, environment artist, senior concept artist, gameplay programmer. It kind of reminds me of Playdead in a way. They're trying to keep it real small. Actually, I think they say this is in Sweden. It looks like it's close to Denmark. Very clear, okay. So this company here, I'm looking on their Instagram, and I'm looking at some of the work. They don't have any audio, but you know, it's a sci-fi it is a sci-fi game. And looking at the video, it looks really good. I mean, it looks really good. I like it. I'm really enjoying this. It looks creepy. There's one video here where a person is putting a charge. It looks like the character's blowing up a wall. Okay, let me look at another one. He's coming in and he's opening up a box. And let's look at one more video. It looks like he's fighting a big giant, some kind of a warrior. Or not a warrior, some kind of a robot. But I think this is going to be, whenever they release this, I don't know when they're going to release it. They're real tight-lipped too. They are real tight-lipped too. atmospheric sci-fi adventure title for PC and the current generation of consoles. So I don't know anything about Section 9. I don't even know the name of this. They're just working and they're working and they're working. But if they have anybody that has to do with Tarsier Studios, I know it's going to be good. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and do a little mini review let's do a small review here of Little Nightmare 3. Because it's supposed to be... Now, this is the trailer. Oh, that's the announcement trailer. Then they got 20 minutes of gameplay. We're not going to go through that. We're not going to go through that. Let's take a look here. Little Nightmare 2. The boss. Let's take a look at this. They even have Little Nightmare Street producer interview. I'm going to take a look at that later. Let's take a look at this here, the trailer. Here's the trailer. It's a strange little character. Super massive game. So yeah, Tarsier's not doing it. So you're seeing the characters, they look like they're working together. Same creepy music, of course. Oh man, what is that? These things look bigger, like they're big giant puppets. Now that's crazy. This reveal trailer came out 8 months ago. 2.6 million views. How did I not know about Little Nightmares? My head's been in the cloud. Now they got a PS5. Okay, so that's the announcement trailer. That's the reveal trailer. I wonder if this is the same. 8 months. Yep, it's the same. It's the same. Let me take a look at the gameplay. Now this is from... Why are they not showing anything for Xbox 3? Let's look at the gameplay. This is supposed to be 20 minutes. Now, this was 6 months ago, the PlayStation. Oh, it's pre-alpha gameplay footage. So hopefully this may not be something on there that I see again. It's starting out creepy already. It looks like they're in the middle of a desert. The music is already kind of getting at you. It looks now like they got a weapon. One of them has some kind of a wrench on their backside. And just the scaling. What I like about it is the scaling is just so large. It just makes you feel like you're an ant. They're climbing up one of them giant ladders like we seen before. Y'all gotta go check this out, man. But they say it's 2 players co-op mode. So that might be interesting. All right, now they're in like a little, not like a hallway, but like a crevice or something. These some weird looking characters they got. Okay, so now they're in this little room. One of them is going into another room. Looks like it might be another puzzle. You gotta open something up. Okay, so they gotta work together. Okay, I see. Now they gotta go inside another room. Hold on. When did Little Nightmares come out? We said it was, I think, 2017. Okay. And when did Inside come out? Inside came out okay, 2016. Now, I was getting ready to say, I said, well, did Little Nightmares, because I know it took more than a year to make Little Nightmares. So we're not even going to jump up and say, well, they copied off of Inside. That's their own little planet. Little Nightmares developers were, they might have messed around and looked at Limbo. That's enough time for them to have some inspiration. I'm not even gonna lie, but I think that Tarsier Studios, that was their own thing. Little Nightmares is arguably one of the better platformers that I've played in my life as well. There's nothing like it. I haven't seen anything like Little Nightmares. I have not seen that. So, yeah, they might have took a little inspiration off of Limbo, but the 2.5D dimension, no, they didn't steal that from nobody, because Limbo and Inside both were not... Okay, oh, that was dope. So this other character they have a bow and arrow. So that must be something that you have to use. And I'm wondering, can you use it as a weapon? That's what I'm wondering. Something telling me something's about to happen in a minute. So he probably has to shoot this down too. Let's see. It almost looks like this is towards the beginning, but I don't know. They're not really going to tell you. Okay, so now it's starting to look even creepier. These characters they're kind of weird looking. Not in like a bad way, but you know. Okay, so now they're going somewhere else. Now, how do you get across there? Oh, there we go. There we go. So one has to hold it while the other one goes across. And I'm thinking that it just sounds like something's gonna happen. Okay, he has to... Okay, so he stands on there and he has to jump on one thing. And now he tells him to come. Damn, but it locks it for him. So now the other character looks like they got to find their way into something. So he moves something. Okay. So yeah, typical puzzle. You got to move something. But I don't think you could play this together where you have one person work, you know. Okay, now they're on the second floor. I don't think you could play this together where you're just sitting there at the same time like a split screen. That wouldn't be fun anyway. Never really been a fan of split screen stuff. But I'm trying to find out where's the other character. I probably should have watched a reaction video for this. So I'm doing my own. Okay, the other character, he's walking past. So it looks like you really got to do a lot of working together. Okay, so now you got one character. He's on the second floor and he's trying to open up a door. And pull a lever. Oh, okay. So now he could go up the ladder. We're 6 minutes in, y'all. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so now they opened up the wood. Now there's a crow with a key. They need that key. How they gonna get that key out of that crow's mouth? Oh, he dropped the key. Okay, so now he has the key. He has to go back. I'm quite sure they're gonna put this in the game. They're gonna have to. Well, they see it's pre-alpha gameplay footage, but you're gonna remember this part if you've seen this. So now they got to go back down and open up the door. There goes another crow. Oh, hell. Damn. Holy crap. What is this thing? This thing is real big, whatever it is. It's like a big giant or something. I think they're going to have to run. Now, where are they going now? I thought they would have to, like, climb up somewhere. I don't see anything. Uh-oh. Something's telling me something's coming. Yeah, I think they got to climb up somewhere. Yep, they're already climbing. Now, they're outside right now, y'all. This looks very desolate. It looks like somewhere in the Middle East. If I were to say, I don't know, but it looks like whoever designed this world, you know, I'm seeing pieces of wood that's with rope wrapped around it, but I'm also seeing steel as well, so I don't know. I'm assuming that whoever built these platforms were about the size of these little people. I was going to call them creatures, but I don't think they're creatures. But whatever that thing was, that was a giant or whatever. Okay, so now they got to jump on like not a tripod or, you know, a zip line or whatnot. Yeah, this is reminiscent of, they call it the necropolis. Okay, so now they gotta jump on like a trap door. Oh shoot, the big hand is back. Oh hell, they're running. They running now. Now they're climbing. More crows. I might as well review this whole thing. We at 10 minutes. We might as well keep on going. All right, he pulling out that tool. Okay, so now they both jumped up on this lever. It's bringing them all the way down somewhere. This thing sounds big, whatever this is. I don't know what it is. So now it's an eye that's looking at them. Oh, now the big hand's back. It's a big giant hand. Okay, now they seem like they made it even to another level. This looks like a bigger, is this quicksand or something? They're in quicksand and the hand is back. I don't know if it's quicksand or if it's water. I think it's sand. Another ladder. They got to climb up. Uh-oh. Now it looks like it's some bodies and it's some little beetles flying around. He's going to shoot that thing. I knew it. He shot the beetle. Oh, he's got to shoot it again. Let's see. Beat it. How many beetles you gotta shoot? Okay, so one's shooting it and the other one's beating it. So they've shot and killed 3 beetles. Where we at now? We at the 13-minute mark. Let's keep on reviewing it. Hey, this is gonna be good, y'all. They'll probably release this game what, in another 5-6 months or so. And this trailer came from 6 months ago. Yeah, I don't think it's coming out in 2025. I think they're gonna drop this this year, maybe in the fall. Okay, so now they're in another little tunnel. Yeah, one of the characters reminds me of a ninja almost. Okay, now they got to climb up somewhere else. It's a lot of climbing. A lot of climbing involved. I'm thinking his hand's gonna jump out in a minute. I don't know. There's a crow at the top. Again. So now it looks like they're going into a city, almost. That big thing is running around. right, so now they're going up some stairs. It looks like some kind of thing is a ventilation system. I don't know. Going through another door. Okay, so now they gotta open this up. What the hell is that? Some umbrellas? Okay, so they got an umbrella that they could put away. So it looks like you're able to store weapons or something, or... Oh, okay. So this little vent, you just pull out the umbrella and that's gonna bring you up to wherever you need. Okay. Get that. Alright. Use the umbrella again. Clever. Use the umbrella again. I'm hearing that monster again. Where we at? 16 minutes. Alright, so now they gotta go through another little door. Back outside again. Another crow. The big hand's back. All hell. They gotta go hide now. I wonder what happens if they get caught. Are these people froze? I don't know what these things are. One more minute. One more minute, y'all. Oh. He done raised up the whole roof on them. And then he grabbed them. Now they look like they're in a jail cell. It looks like they got caught and now they're in a jail cell, so I don't know. Then now the light is starting to dim and there you go. Little nightmares. Part 3. The sounds of Little Nightmares. What is this? LittleNightmares.com. They must got some kind of LittleNightmares.com. Let's look at the website real quick. Let's look at the website, the website real fast. Damn. How do you find the website? Bandai. Watch trailer. It's supposed to be like a play solo or navigate through a brand new world of delusions. Dystopian, a cluster of dystopian lands. Discover places as diverse as the mysterious desert of Necropolis, an unsettling fun fair, a gloomy factory, and who knows what else. Ranging from ominous, foes from ominous beetles to giant baby and so many more. Meet Low and Alone and learn about the boy in the raven mask and the girl with pigtails. Okay, so they showed the gameplay. We seen that. So I'm sold on that. So I'm definitely gonna buy that. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Release date 2024. Oh yeah. They did an excellent job. But my question is this. Wait a minute, hold on. Let's go back here. Little Nightmares. Three. Let's see what the producer has to say. Gameplay trailers. Is this the same one? It's like they came out of a mirror. All right, hold on. They got some good reaction films. Little Nightmares 2 full game, 2.5 hours. So yeah, okay. Let's see what the producer says.
Hi, I'm Cora Di Feniello, the producer of Little Nightmares 3. We have been delighted by the reception of the announcement of Little Nightmares 3, and we thought we would express our thanks by answering some of the questions of the community and giving you more information about the game. Little Nightmares 3 is a brand new adventure in the world of Little Nightmares. Because of that, you will not need to play the previous game in order to enjoy Little Nightmares 3. If you did, you will be able to find some nods and some secrets that will link all the stories together. As the previous games, Little Nightmares 3 takes place in the Nowhere, which is the nightmares place of Little Nightmares. When you have been able to escape from the moon in Little Nightmares 1 and to go through the Pale City in Little Nightmares 2, you will be able to go through the Spiral this time in Little Nightmares 3. The Spiral is a cluster of disturbing places, like for example the necropolis that you might have seen in the walkthrough video. Each of the chapters will have their own locations, their own enemies, and their own threats. As for the relationship between the characters and the different games in the timeline, we will let you make theories about that once the game has released.
Can you tell us more about the necropolis? Now, like she said, the first game, the first two games, you could just play Little Nightmares 3 right out the gate. You could just do it right out the gate if you want to. So all the Little Nightmares fans, if you play 1 and 2 and you enjoyed it, you're just like me. I've played 1, I have 2, I haven't played it yet. I've had it sitting around in the house for years. I still love the series. Part 3, I'm copping that too. I may not play it for another year for all I know, but I'm copping that too.
The necropolis is the first part of the spiral that you will be able to explore in Little Nightmares 3. It is a peculiar place that has been raised from the desert sand and powered by gusting winds. It has been described as a city of eternal energy and certain death. It used to be inhabited by the dwellers, but now the ancient metropolis is more of a ghost town. All that is left is sand, ruins, some disturbing statues, and forever turning windmills.
Oh, okay, so those were statues. I thought that those were, that's why I said it looks like, it's likened to a Middle Eastern city. And I didn't know they were statues. I thought they were like people frozen in time.
In the necropolis, the players will be able to find moments of life frozen in time, vestige of the past, and maybe discover what happens to this place and who used to live here. But not everything is dead in the necropolis. Apart from some crows and some defensive beetles, it is also the hometown of the Monster Baby. Monster Baby is one of the new residents of Little Nightmares 3. Her size, clumsiness, and curiosity would be a great danger for the players, and you will have to escape from her grasp and her gaze. She might also have something to do with what happened to the necropolis and to the inhabitants.
How will the co-op work in Little Nightmares Part 3, she's saying?
For the first time in the franchise, you will be able to experience Little Nightmares in online co-op. You can play either low or alone with your friend. You will be able to invite people from your friend list, meaning that you can choose with who you want to play.
That's
Even
dope.
if they are not on the same generation of console as you, so you can play PlayStation 5 with PlayStation 4, Xbox Series with Xbox One. In order to allow more people to play together, we are integrated a Friends Pass feature, allowing you to play with a friend even if they don't own the game.
Wow.
To make sure people...
I was just getting ready to ask about that. That's dope. I like that. I like that. So, if they don't own the game, you could still play together. That's dope.
While immersed in the world of Little Nightmares, we have decided not to integrate any voice chat, but you will be able to use your favorite one to discuss with your friend. You will also have access to a call button to call your friend's characters in a typical Little Nightmares fashion. That being said, if you are more of a solo player, don't worry, you will also be able to experience the full game in single player. You will be able to play either low or alone and do the full adventure with them. You will also have access to multiple save slots that will let you have several playthroughs ongoing at the same times with different characters, both in single player and multiplayer.
What is new in Little Nightmares 3?
Obviously, as we just mentioned it, the co-op is a new feature that will allow you to face your childhood fears together. But that's not all. Little Nightmares 3 is not shy of novelty. You will be able to discover the Spiral, which is a brand new place in the world of the nowhere. Little Nightmares 3 also has a whole new cast of residents and smaller enemies. You will also be able to meet two new characters, Lo and Alone. Lo is here since a long time now, but he has never lost hope in finding a mythical place that will allow him to go back home. Alone is Lo's best friend. She is an incurable tinkerer. She's very curious, and she's always trying to find secrets about the Spiral. Each of them will have...
So, with Little Nightmares 2, I'm not sure, but Little Nightmares 2, there was two characters. So I wonder if one of the characters you play, and then you got the AI.
Their own set of iconic items, so Lo has the bow and arrow, and Alone has the wrench. They will be able to use them in order to solve puzzles, to find their way through the world, but also to defend themselves against small enemies. In addition to that, your journey through the Spiral will make you stumble upon objects that will allow you to continue your journey. You may have noticed, for example, the umbrella that you can see in the trailer.
Will Little Nightmares 3 be scary?
Little Nightmares franchise has a very particular and unique type of horror that we call charming horror. It is more a psychological and disturbing type of horror, but it always has a spark of light or hope that is coming from the children as they remain kids in a world that is not fit for them. Little Nightmares 3 will keep that same type of horror and make you see a disturbed world through a child perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the first Little Nightmares, man, blew me out of the water. It was actually a little creepier than Inside, if you ask me. Yeah, it was creepy. It was creepy.
The Necropolis, for example, is the first chapter of the game. It has warmer tone and color, but still has a dark narrative behind it.
See? That's all I'm saying. I was wrong earlier. I said they're not going to give us this whole section. This is an alpha play. But it looked like it was the beginning of the game. But I was thinking, they're not going to give us all of this. Hey, looks like they are. It looks like this piece of the game is the very beginning piece.
Each chapter of the game has different mood and settings that you might have spotted in our trailer.
Is there a hold hands button?
Lo and Alone are two best friends, and in a world as scary as the nowhere, who wouldn't want to be able to hold hands to get some comfort and courage to face that world?
Is this game going to make us cry?
Well, only you guys will be able to tell us once
right.
you finish the game.
Yeah, that's kind of a dumb question.
You will have to wait a little bit more. That's all we can tell you for now. Little Nightmares 3 will be playable in single player and multiplayer on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Thanks again for your passion and excitement about the game. We can't wait to tell you more.
This is how I know that next Playdead game is going to be insane. I do want to... Now, Somerville, I don't want to watch this whole thing, but the Somerville game, there's a guy that's playing. He's going to play the whole thing. He got 6 million views on it. Remember, one of the guys, this is the 100% Playdead at 2 hours. Damn, they said it's real short. That's what I heard. I heard it's really, really short. I don't. Matter of fact, yeah. Let me get out of there because I don't want. I had waited years to play that game, and now it's here. I still haven't played it. But Somerville, they say it was too short. I heard it was too short. But you know, one of the co-founders of Playdead, Dino Patty, he was one of the people that spearheaded that game. So let me see. Somerville, Jump Ship. Yeah, he left Playdead. He got some great reviews for Jump Ship or Somerville. I followed it for a long time. Yeah, Chris Olsen and co-founder of Playdead, Dino Patty. I wonder if they're gonna come out with another game. I'm gonna make sure I play that in the next couple weeks. When did Somerville come out? When did Somerville come out? Okay, it came out November 15th, 2022. Yeah, I'm really, really out the loop. Super out the loop. Because they started working on this in 2017. So I wonder what else they're going to work on. Let's see. Some people, they said, gave it mixed reviews. I don't want to look at the reviews. I don't want to look at the reviews at all, y'all. I do not want to look at the reviews. There's one other one that looked pretty good too. I'm going to review that next time. This looks like a good platformer from EA, from Electronic Arts. The Tales of Kenzera. Metroidvania. Okay. I'll do that next time, you guys. This was a little longer than I thought. We'll wrap next time, you guys. I appreciate you.